Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So this is part 2 of my beginners series, and in my last video we covered the essentials that you would need to start crocheting, and in this video we're going to cover the different yarns, the different weights of yarn and the projects that you can make with those yarns. So I'm going to start off with 4 of the main yarns that are used. So the first one is 4-ply. Okay, so more than likely if you're going to choose some yarn, you're going to be quite drawn to colour. So using this ball as an example of a 4-ply yarn, this is Women's Institute, and this is a brand that's exclusive to Hobbycraft here in the UK, and it's a really nice yarn, and it's 100% microfiber acrylic. And it's so soft, but it's ideal for making baby toys or children's toys because it's anti-pilling. And anti-pilling just means that it's not so fibrous. The pieces of yarn, the fibres don't come away. So if a child puts it in their mouth, it's not going to be awful. Whereas some yarns are quite kind of fluffy and they're a choking hazard. So this yarn is Soft and Silky by the Women's Institute. And it states in the corner here that it's a 4-ply. There's 100 grams in this ball, which states it down here on the right, and 270 meters. So on this ball, on this band, you've got these two knitting needles that go across like this. Now generally they would indicate the size of the needles that you would need to use. Now, if you just look on the corner, you can see that there is actually a picture of a crochet hook there, and that says a 3.25mm hook. Now, not all of the bands do have the crochet hook pictures on them, but you still go by the rule of thumb that you do for the knitting needles. So it says a 3.25 for knitting needles, it's exactly the same for the crochet hook. So please don't worry if there's not a picture of a crochet hook on your yarn band. That's quite normal with some brands. Okay. So a 4-ply. So in the US this would be known as a sport weight, and a 5-ply in Australia. So this yarn here next to it, this is also a 4-ply. Now the difference is this is 100% cotton. This is also a Hobbycraft range. It's the Knitcraft from Hobbycraft, and this one's called It's So Fine. These are only 50-gram balls. I absolutely love this yarn, and I use it a lot for making baby toys and things like that because it is 100% cotton, and it's just lovely to work with. I won't go on too much about machine washing labels because I'm sure you all know what you're doing there. But there aren't many yarns really these days that can't be machine washed. Even pure wool, there are settings on washing machines for washing wool. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The crochet hook that he recommends on this one is 3.25. So in the USA that would be a number 3, because they have a different sizing system in the USA to what we do here in the UK. So these are 4-plies, so perfect for lightweight projects, nice summer tops, baby toys, baby clothes, and of course blankets. You can make blankets with these, but it's just more of a lightweight yarn, really nice lightweight yarn. So that's 4-ply. Then we move on to double knit, or DK as we call it in the UK. Now in the USA this would be light worsted, and in Australia it would be 8-ply. So I'm going to show you, let's just move those out of the way. I'm going to show you these double knits. So this double knit here, this is called Knitting Essentials, and this is from Poundland in the UK. It's a 100-gram ball. It's 100% acrylic. It says down there 100% acrylic, and it recommends that you use a 4mm crochet hook and 4mm knitting needles. So both the symbols are actually on there. So you've got the knitting needles, I don't know if you can see, you've got the knitting needles and the crochet hook just down here in the corner. Okay, so double knit yarn, in my opinion, is the most commonly used yarn. It's just a really good all-rounder. You can use it for blankets, clothes, toys, afghans, absolutely anything. And I would say by far it's the most widely available. Now, this is quite a soft yarn, although it's 100% acrylic. Now, this yarn next to it, isn't that beautiful? This is the James C. Brett Glisten in Cotton DK. Now, if you look at the fibres on this, how fine they are, and then you look at the fibres on the double knit, they feel thicker. But in actual fact, they are both double knit weight. It's just that because one is cotton, the fibres are wound a lot tighter on the cotton than they would be on the 100% acrylic. Okay, so they would both require the same size crochet hook, and they are both the same weight. It's just that one is cotton, so the fibres are wound tighter. With this one, it recommends a 4mm, and with this one it recommends a 4mm. So as I say, in the USA, this is a light worsted, and it's an 8-ply in Australia. Here in the UK, this is double knit or DK. Okay, so we've done the 4-ply, we've done the double knit, get rid of that. The next one I want to go on to is Aran. Now, Aran yarn is thicker than double knit, but not as thick as chunky. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. Now this here, I absolutely love Red Heart. You know, it's one of my go-to yarns, and this is so soft actually, and I think it's got something polyacrylic. So it's got a slight sheen to it actually. Now, what I find with some of the American yarns, whereas we might say double knit or 4-ply or Aran or chunky, what I've noticed is on some of them you actually have a number. Can you see there's a number 4 on there? So the number 4, that actually indicates that's a medium worsted. Okay, so that would be a 10-ply in Australia. And it is recommending here that you would use a 5mm crochet hook, which is probably about right. I mean, I would use a 4.5 because my tension is slightly tighter, but again, that's personal preference. So a number 4, so that's a medium worsted. Now, this is Sugar and Cream by Lily. This is also Aran, but this is 100% cotton. So just like with the double knit, if you look at the strands here, where you've got these really kind of, show it this way, you've got these really soft strands, and then here with the 100% cotton, you can see how the fibres are wound. That's a really soft cotton. So again, Aran is ideal for jumpers, any kind of clothes, afghans, blankets, hats, scarves, anything you like. But they do come in absolutely different materials. Okay, so the next one I'm going to move on to is chunky. So chunky in the US would be known as bulky, and will be 12-ply in Australia. So we call it chunky, US call it bulky, and Australia call it 12-ply. This is Boshi yarn. Now I absolutely love this. This is 70% polyacrylic, and it's got 30% merino in it, which is just what makes it so warm and so soft. I've made so many hats with this. It's not the cheapest yarn. They're only 50-gram balls, but it washes up so beautifully. It's such good quality. Again, this is recommending a size 6mm crochet hook. Again, that's personal preference. It's machine washable at 30 degrees, and yeah, so this is chunky. So you guys in the US, this would be known as bulky to you. So then we could go on and on because there's so many different thicknesses of yarn. This one here is super bulky. I haven't got a label on this, but I do know from the label that it recommends an 8mm crochet hook. So super chunky in the UK would be super bulky in the US, and would be 14-ply in Australia. So I meant to say with the chunky, perfect for Afghans, blankets, clothes, hats, scarves, and the same with the super chunky. Obviously, the thicker the yarn, the faster the project will work up. And the general rule of thumb is that the thicker the yarn, the bigger the hook. But in my next video, we will be going on to the hook sizes and the various hooks. Okay, so I hope I haven't rushed through that. Any questions, please do ask me below. So we have the 4-ply, which is the nice lightweight summer weight yarns. Then we have the double knit, or the light worsted in the US, and that's just a really good all-rounder. Then we have the Aran, that's thicker than double knit, but not as thick as chunky. Okay, so that would be medium worsted in the US, and Aran here, and 10-ply in Australia. Then we have the chunky, which is bulky weight in the US, 12-ply in Australia, and then the super chunky, which is super bulky in the US, and 14-ply in Australia. Okay, so I hope I haven't confused you too much with that. So I look forward to seeing you all in my next video, which is all about crochet hooks. I'm super excited about that one. And I always say it in every video, but just thank you again, guys, so much for all of your support. It honestly means so much. I'm not sure what I'm on at the moment, actually, but when I last looked earlier today, I was like 1,700 subscribers. I just can't believe it. But please do continue to watch my videos, and also if you want to ask me any questions at all crochet related, just pop a question below. I'm happy to do Q&As. You know, any advice you'd like about crochet, just ask me. I do read all of my comments, and sometimes it takes me a while to get round to reading them. I might not read them until later this evening, but I will definitely read them. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, and also don't forget I'm still running those giveaways. I've got one giveaway that expires on the 30th of this month, so you still have time to enter that one, and I've got another one that expires in August, so keep an eye on those. Okay, thank you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.